Hi, everybody. Welcome to our weekly Facebook Live. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dr. Adrienne Youdim. I'm an internist specializing in clinical nutrition and weight loss. And in addition to my private practice here in Los Angeles, I'm also the founder of Dell Nutrition, a line of functional nutritional bars and supplements that are created in order to enhance health and well-being. So today I wanted to give you the lowdown on sodium or salt, and I thought I would start by talking to you about one of my patients. Let's call him Joe. So Joe has been seeing me for several years, and in addition to managing his weight, we've been trying to manage his blood pressure. In fact, Joe was on 3 different blood pressure medications, despite having lost about 35 to 40 pounds during our time together. And I got a call from Joe about 3 months into the pandemic to come into the office and talk to me about this new issue he had developed of lightheadedness. And we found out that his blood pressure was down, like really down, and actually was so low that it was causing him his symptoms of feeling lightheaded and almost even passing out. So I talked to Joe, I did an exam, we even did some blood work to try and figure out what exactly was going on. And we figured out that this was just a matter of him not eating out because of the pandemic. So Joe was or is a successful CEO and tended to eat out for work lunches, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And so was getting 3 meals out consistently until the pandemic happened and the stay-at-home orders, at which time he started working from home and he stopped eating out. And this in and of itself was enough to drop his blood pressure 20 to 30 points. And it was surprising, but really it shouldn't be a surprise because the studies show that we can get up to 2,200 or 2,300 milligrams of sodium in every restaurant meal. And that's in fact what the American Heart Association recommends for our total 24-hour daily intake. And in fact, for some populations, like people who have high blood pressure, the recommendation is even lower. It's 1,500 milligrams. So Joe, on a 3 times a day basis, was getting about 40% more sodium than was recommended for his diet. And this, of course, was affecting his blood pressure in a really significant way. So let's talk a little bit about sodium or salt, because we actually need sodium in our bodies. Sodium helps us maintain our fluid balance, so it regulates our fluid balance in our bodies. It also is necessary in order for our muscles to contract and in order to transmit nerve impulses along the nerve or nerves, as well as in the brain. So sodium is a very important mineral in order to keep us alive. We need sodium in order to keep us alive. And when sodium levels fall down, our bodies have a system to reclaim that sodium. So our bodies will signal with hormones or chemical messengers to the brain and to the kidneys that the sodium is in short supply. The kidneys will then act by reclaiming more sodium and more fluids so that the body has more fluid. It preserves the blood volume as well as more sodium so that it can act in all these ways that we're talking about, like nerve impulses and contracting muscles, etc. But the problem is that too much sodium will cause high blood pressure. And in fact, sodium intake is the #1 cause of high blood pressure and strokes in the United States. And high blood pressure, when left untreated for prolonged periods of time, will cause what we call end organ damage. So not only will it cause strokes, but it'll cause strain on the heart muscle, making people more likely to have heart attacks. It also can cause changes or enlargement of the heart and the heart muscle, something that's called cardiomyopathy, which results in heart failure and can cause a whole host of other problems like kidney damage and other, again, end organ damage. So it really is important, especially as we get older, to manage our salt or our sodium intake, because it is true that it has a very direct impact on our blood pressure and our health. What's even more important is that what we used to believe was healthy or normal blood pressure has even dropped down lower. So our recommendations for blood pressure are now, in the last year or two, even lower than what we previously believed. And so again, it's really important to manage our health by limiting our sodium. So how do we do this? Well, the incorporation of functional foods. So foods like plant-based foods, fruits and vegetables that are high in magnesium, are a great way to manage blood pressure. But also what we can do is, in addition to limiting our meals out, so I know things have kind of opened up, people are eating out more, we're ordering in again the way we used to, but it really is important to limit our meals at restaurants and outside of the home, because it does contain significant amounts of sodium, much more than we would typically add in our own food. But also we should be mindful of processed foods and be mindful of how much sodium we're adding in the cooking process and as table salt. A great way to displace the salt or sodium in our diet is by incorporating functional foods, herbs, and spices. So cooking with turmeric, cardamom, cayenne pepper, adding herbs like basil, cilantro, marjoram. These are all great ways to add flavor or enhance the flavor of our food and to limit sodium. Think Mediterranean style diet, think herbs, and think spices. And really, it does have a significant impact when you do these things. Just ask Joe. So, thank you for joining me today on this Facebook Live. If you're interested in learning more tips and tools about health and well-being, I'd love for you to check us out on delnutrition.com. You can sign up for our newsletter where you can get weekly content that is relevant to the area of health and wellness. Also, feel free to follow me on social media, Instagram and Facebook at Dr. Adrienne Youdim, as well as Del Nutrition. And if you find this content relevant to any friends, I invite you to invite them to join us on our weekly Facebook Lives. Thank you for being here. Feel free to leave any questions or comments in the thread below. I always love to hear what you guys are thinking and feeling. And I look forward to talking to you guys again next week. Okay? Have a great week and in good health. Bye.